New Year's resolutions are notoriously difficult to stick to. And I think there's a few reasons for that. One of which is actually the timing of when we set these goals for ourselves. And I suppose really this applies more to people in the Northern Hemisphere than it does in the Southern Hemisphere. Other big thing around New Year's resolutions that I think hinders people is the energy of shouldness that they're enveloped in. And so I'm really not a fan. But having said that, I am very much in favor of personal growth and working to improve something about ourselves or about our lives. Not because we're not good enough as we are, but because if there is something that we want to improve in our external world, usually we need to start internally in order to get there. Now, obviously, for some people, setting goals and New Year resolutions works quite well, but it really does take a lot of discipline. So in this video, I'm speaking to those like me who don't have that much discipline and need to be motivated by something deeper and more meaningful in order to really follow through on what it is that they've committed to. So in this video, I'm going to talk about two different approaches. They have a lot of similarities. There's some subtle differences, but there's a lot of similarities. I use them in an overlapping way, but there's a very different energy around these approaches compared to the typical New Year's goal setting approach. One is Sankalpa, which is essentially setting an intention, and the other is choosing a word for the year. But before I get into them, I just wanted to address the time of year for those of us who are in the Northern Hemisphere. When people are setting New Year resolutions, we are in midwinter. And this is really a time of year when we're supposed to be taking it easy. A lot of plant and animal life are in hibernation at this time of year. And our own energy is impacted by the low levels of light, and our overall mind-body systems aren't that geared up for moving full force into something new that requires a lot of energy or stamina or discipline to fulfill. So I personally think that February is a much better month to be committing ourselves to embrace new challenges. January is much more suited to taking things easy and slowly and being a time of reflection. So it's a good month to figure out what it is that you want to commit yourself to for the coming year. But wait until the days are getting longer, we've more light, and we start to feel the energy of spring within ourselves before we actually expect ourselves to make substantial forward movement. And I have some blog posts around this topic and around the Sankalpa and the word for the year. I'll post links to those in the description below. Okay, so let's say that you're going to park your New Year's commitment for another few weeks and use January to reflect on what it is that you would like to commit yourself to. Then how are you actually going to go about choosing what that commitment will be? So let's first talk about Sankalpa. So Sankalpa is a concept from the Vedic tradition of India, and it's essentially an intention. It does harness the energy of conviction and determination and resolve, which at first glance could seem to be similar to a New Year's resolution. But I suppose the key difference is the energy around it. New Year's resolutions really come laden down with a baggage of should. So I set myself the goal of losing weight. So I should exercise, I should not eat this, I should eat that. I should. And I don't know about you, but for me, as soon as should comes into the equation, I get very resistant and I no longer want to do whatever it is that I want to do. Whereas with the Sankalpa, you're really getting in touch with the core essence of your desire, the why you want to lose weight or the why you want to get fit. And then when we get in touch with that reason, we craft an intention or a seed that we are sowing into our subconscious mind. And then we use that Sankalpa to move through our day with the energy of choice instead of the energy of should. Your Sankalpa acts as an anchor that keeps your conscious mind in touch with what it is that your heart and soul really desires. And so instead of operating from the energy of should, Instead, you find yourself operating from an energy of choice and freedom. So how do you actually choose your Sankalpa? Well, you really want to take your time with it. You don't want to put yourself under pressure to have chosen this by New Year's Eve so that you can be all gung-ho on New Year's Day. As I said at the top of the video, use January as a time of reflection. Take it easy, and what you want to do is ask yourself the question repeatedly, what do I really need to focus on right now? So, and just ask the question, don't force yourself to answer it, just let it go. So do this first thing in the morning when you wake up, do it last thing at night before you go to sleep, when you're out for a walk. Whenever it occurs to you, ask the question and let it go, and see what comes back over the next few days or the next few weeks, what drops in. And when you do receive an insight, make a note of it. You don't have to go with the first thing that drops in. Just write down whatever thoughts occur to you whenever they occur, because they won't always occur right after you ask the question. They'll occur at other times, when you're driving, when you're watching TV, when you're in the shower. When your mind is relaxed, that's when the thoughts may occur. So make a note of them when they do. And after a week or 2 weeks, when you've had a few different thoughts drop in, sit down with pen and paper and look over everything and underline what's coming up repeatedly, or wherever you're seeing similar themes. More than likely, you're going to have a much clearer idea at this stage of what it is that your heart is telling you to focus on. And once you do know what that is, then you want to craft an affirmative statement around it, a present tense affirmative statement. So it's an affirmation. So for example, I fully step into my power. I am powerful in every way. I am flourishing in every aspect of my life. I embody the energy of unconditional love. Once you have a Sankalpa that rings true to you and that feels nourishing and nurturing and expansive, and will support you in moving through the rest of the year with a feeling of inner strength, then you want to write that down and you want to repeat it frequently. It's great to put reminders, so maybe stick a post-it on your bathroom mirror, on your car dashboard, make it your screensaver on your computer, but also find triggers when you will recite it out loud. For example, whenever I see double digits like 11, 11, 9, 9, 13, 13, 21, 21, whatever it is, whenever I see double digits, I take a moment, I take a deep breath in, and I recite my Sankalpa. What this does for us is it helps us to gradually shift whatever limiting belief that we've been carrying that this Sankalpa is going to counteract. Because when we make the shift internally, then we will start to behave differently and more easily take the steps that we need to take in order to change things on the external. So now let's look at the word for the year approach, which for me, it's a modern day version of the Sankalpa process. And essentially what it means is replacing your New Year's resolutions with a single word. But that word captures the essence of whatever it is that you want to achieve for yourself. So again, it involves some introspection, some reflection. You start by looking at what it is that you want to achieve for yourself for this year, and then going underneath those goals to get in touch with the traits that you would need to foster within yourself in order to be able to realize the change that you want. So again, you're going to be sitting down with pen and paper every now and again and thinking about that and what those traits might be, and writing out a list. So it could be things like courage, open-mindedness, connection, love, focus. So over a period of time, you want to draw up a long list of words, feel appropriate for what it is that you want to achieve, and then come back to it a while later and start to whittle it down. So your long list needs to become a short list of the words that resonate most in terms of what it is that you're looking for, and take your time with it until you reach a point where one word is calling out to you above all of the others. Now, your word might also come to you very quickly, when you start this process, you might not find yourself having to come up with a very long list at all. You might immediately know, once you ask yourself, what are the qualities, what are the traits that I need to foster in order to, whatever it is that would be your resolutions, so shall we say, whatever your goals would be, the word just might come. Or else, as you're going through the process of drawing up the list, some of the words might start to make themselves more known to you throughout your everyday. They might crop up in conversations that you're having with friends. You might hear it on the radio, or it might jump out of you at something you're reading in a book. Just one or two of those words might just make their presence felt more strongly. And that's really what you're looking for. So that's why you want to take your time. You don't want to pick the word so much as you want the word to really make its presence felt. And then once you have that, once there is a word that is deeply resonating with you and you feel will really support you to make whatever growth it is you're looking to make this year, then what I like to do is use that word in a Sankalpa. So craft the positive present tense affirmation using your word. So for example, if the word that has settled within you is flourishing, then your Sankalpa would be something like, I am flourishing in every aspect of my life. So whether you use the Sankalpa approach or the word approach, as you can see, they're very, very similar, but you come up with the same result, which is both a word and a life-affirming statement that will support you if you tune into it on a daily basis. By reciting your Sankalpa regularly, it will help you to embody the energy of that word, and the embodiment of that is what's going to shift the way you behave. And it's the change in your behavior that's going to realize the change in your life. So coming back to the whole energy around resolutions versus your word or your Sankalpa, you'll be making a change within yourself that will effortlessly motivate you to make choices and to behave in ways that will help you achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. So you're doing that from a place of greater ease and grace than if it's solely from a place of should. I have decided that I want to do this, so I should do X, Y, and Z in order to get there. That's a much harder way to go about achieving your goals than embodying the energy of what it is the goals will bring you. When you embody that energy first, then it's easier to step into whatever role you need to step into to achieve what you want to achieve. I hope all of this makes sense and that you found it useful. I will link the related blog posts in the description box below. I'd love to hear your own thoughts around New Year's resolutions and any alternatives that you have to New Year's resolutions. I'd love to know if you've tried this approach and how you found it. And I'd also love to know what you'd like me to make future videos about, because the channel is about creating a sense of sanctuary in your life. And there's a big focus on interior design. There's also quite a focus on meditation, decluttering, a little bit about feng shui, but also self-care in general and personal growth in general. So I'm here to talk about whatever it is that you want me to talk about. So please do let me know. I have an online course that helps you to set up your home to support your well-being. It blends interior design and metaphysical principles. And for the month of January, there's 25% discount if you use the code that's now on the screen, which I'll also put in the description box below. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.